County yesterday now are 20. If you multiply 20 times 55 counties in this state, that's 1,100 in a day. In a day. And we don't have anything like that. We've got 182 in a day. But just think, Logan County's population is minuscule compared to a lot of counties that we have in this state. Well, then what's happening in Logan County? It's coming from the south. What's happening in Mercer County? It's coming from the south. It's coming. What's happening in Kentucky? Kentucky is absolutely shutting down their whole universe over there. It's coming from the south. West Virginia, you have got to listen. You can't ease off. You've got to wear your mask. You've got to absolutely protect the elderly. You have got to absolutely use all the tools in the toolbox to stay socially distanced and on your game. West Virginia, you have been the miracle. I have just read off 5 beautiful West Virginians that we've lost. Now, life is too precious for me to sit here and read of West Virginians we've lost. Please, West Virginia, I am pleading with you. Wear your mask, wash your hands, do everything you possibly can. This thing is invisible and it is here with us. It will not be with us forever, especially as we move toward those potential drugs. But today, it is with us, and it can do harm to us like you can't imagine. Don't let your guard down, West Virginia. We're seeing you do just that. We're seeing you do greatness, and we're still seeing people that believe that, well, I don't have to wear a mask, and they're not following the science. They're not following our president. They're not following me. Their father's saying, that's my right. I don't have to do this and everything. Now, if you have a lung issue to where wearing a mask causes you a problem, you don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be wearing a mask. And we totally, as I possibly can, you know, there was a report that just came out. There's a beautiful, I mean, there's 2 individuals that are with us today. You know, the mayor of Parkersburg, Tom Joyce, is joining us, you know, on our Zoom, and so is the Chamber of Commerce president, Steve Roberts. You know, there's a report that came out, and Senator Capito reported on it. You know, I've been saying it and every day, you know, how hard and how good that we're doing as far as getting the monies out to our people. The report that was released this week by the U.S. Treasury Department says that West Virginia is 4th in the nation when it comes to the rate at which we are using and getting the CARES money out. You know, the report says West Virginia is the 4th fastest state in the country expending the CARES funds. You know, and we are only behind in this nation, or in this state rather, California, Colorado, and New York. And then West Virginia is right there. And this doesn't mean that we've spent all the money, all the $1.25 billion. The report is significant because all states had to be measured exactly the same way by the guidelines. Is completely unfair. It's unfounded. It's not true. Here is a report by the Treasury Department that is just telling you and everyone what our great people have done in pushing dollars out the door and getting money in the pipelines and everything that can go, ranks us 4th in the nation at it. So I'll defer, you know, just a second, you know, to a couple of great people, you know, our mayor from Parkersburg and our president of our Chamber of Commerce that were kind enough to join us today, and maybe they can have a comment or two.
President Roberts, would you like to go first?
There, I unmuted, and it's wonderful to be here. And those on the call, we appreciate your leadership. You're taking great notes. We are urging caution. I have someone with me here in my office, so I have reached over and put my mask on. And Governor, you can be assured we are heeding your advice and we are urging others to. We have a Wear Your Mask campaign underway. I want to thank you for your leadership in helping with so many small businesses in West Virginia. The West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, we're privileged to have within our membership companies that employ over half of West Virginia's entire workforce. And so we hear from those companies, and they tell us that they have cash needs, they need customers, they need commerce. But of course, we say all of this knowing that number one is that we have to keep people safe and we have to keep people out of harm's way. And so we are carefully trying to balance how to do that. But we appreciate the leadership you're providing, particularly in helping the small businesses with their cash and customer needs. So that is particularly helpful and much appreciated. I'm going to say quickly, and then I'm going to move on so that we have time to hear from others. The number one thing we hear from our small businesses is that we need to work remotely and we need to improve broadband and able to be in order to be able to do that. So broadband, skilled workforce, workers who are able to come to work and learn and be trained are very high priorities. And as I mentioned earlier, just the needs to have cash in the door to meet the essential needs, very important. So we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate that with your leadership, we in West Virginia are doing number 4 in the country. We like it when you say, let's go from where we are to number 1. We want to be in that race with you and appreciate your leadership. And with that, I'm going to defer to others on the call. But again, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Let me say one thing, Steve. Thanks a bunch. You're a tremendous president. You know, of our oh gosh, I've got all choked up here. You know, of the our Chamber of Commerce and all the different people that you're working with, and all of our small businesses, big businesses, and everybody. But at the same time, I want to just tell you this, that Steve, we got good news coming right around the corner on broadband. Your comments on broadband are dead on and everything, and we appreciate it. And you know, you're going to see some more good news coming right around the corner on broadband.
Mayor Joyce.
Thank you. Again, Governor, I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Parkersburg for everything you do. You're not in this alone. I know that I share your heartache. Sometimes you feel like you're alone, but there's a lot of folks out here doing the right thing and pulling for you and all of West Virginia. From our standpoint here in the city of Parkersburg, you know, the CARES Act piece, you know, once the criteria was determined and the process was laid out, it's been really very efficient and effective. I can't say enough. And thank you, Governor, but also Brian Abraham, Ann Erling in your office has been very helpful to us throughout this whole process. Chief of Staff Hall and Secretary Sandy has just been great with regards to our first responders and personal protective equipment. You know, the remittance from the CARES Act funds on our end has been very timely for our front-facing police and fire personnel in particular. I did speak with the sheriff of Wood County today, and I know that the county has received some funds with regards to front-facing personnel, and you know, it's going to prove vital moving forward for us to continue our essential services, police and fire protection, and all the things that that our citizens you know, count on us and expect from us. So I really appreciate everything that that you've done, and again, your staff has just been extremely cooperative and helpful. I mean, they really and it, you know, it was stressful there, particularly back as we approached the end of our fiscal year in June. But again, all those folks, Mr. Abraham, Ms. Erling, they've just all been great. So we're very appreciative of the way the CARES Act has been handled, particularly these last several weeks.
Well, Mayor, thanks, and forgive me, I got a little choked up there and everything, you know, with our chamber leader and everything, Steve and Mayor. I want to say just this, that all of us are pulling this rope, and we're doing great work. You're doing a great job, you know, in your position and all the great stuff that's going on. You know, you've been dealt some tough licks up there, to just tell it like it is. You know, the fire that you had up there and all the different things, but the opportunities that how we can grow, and from all the petrochemical possibilities and on in the Parkersburg area are phenomenal. And we absolutely, but we've got to survive and get through this terrible epidemic or pandemic that we've got going on. And so we want to continue to try to push some money out. And Erling is, you know, probably deserves an awful lot of credit, you know. But don't forget, you know, our state auditor and J.B. McCuskey and all the people that are really working it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, you know, our Attorney General's working hard at it and everything. And so Patrick and everybody, we thank everybody for all the great work that's going on, and we're just going to keep at it. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, we just keep at it, and we just keep, you know, I'll never forget, you know, a basketball coach was at Woodrow Wilson when I was probably 12 years old in a Crescent Chipmunk, you know, in an elementary school. And, you know, they were playing in the state championship, and they were playing against Weirton, and it was an incredible game between two undefeated schools, and Weirton had a big lead, and all of a sudden Woodrow started coming back. I was at the game. It was in Morgantown at the old field house in Morgantown. People were going completely crazy, and at the timeouts, the basketball coach kept saying one thing and only one thing to the boys and everything, and he was pounding his hands like that saying, "Keep sawing wood, boys, keep sawing wood." And that's what we have to do. We just have to keep sawing wood. We just have to absolutely keep pumping out all the goodness that we can do, and all stay together and keep pulling the rope together. So thank you guys. Thank you all so much for coming in today. And again, thanks. Let's just keep it going. I want to move on. I want to move on to a thing that we're going to do. You know, as I said, I've said it a couple of times, but now we got it, and we got it moving in the way that it needs to move. It needs to move very, very quickly. But that's in regard to testing our students and our faculty at our higher ed institutions. And as they come back to our campuses and everything, we are pledging right now $2.5 million to go towards our smaller schools, because WVU and Marshall have their own plans, and they're working it great. But really and truly, what we're doing right now is pledging $2.5 million of additional money to go toward testing of those students. And, you know, and so we will support them with the funds, and really what we will do is now defer to them as how they're going to test, and we'll pass the torch right to them and say, let's go. Let's test everybody. Let's test everybody that's going to be on one of our campuses. Now, if you've got somebody that's doing, you know, virtual learning at a distance, we sure don't need to call them in to get them tested. That could even cause a bigger problem. But anybody that's coming to any of our campuses, in-state, out-of-state, it doesn't matter. We test everybody, including all the faculty and everybody else. And we're going to pledge the dollars to be able to accomplish this. And then we're going to turn it over to our schools. And we have a lady with us today that's doing a great job at Fairmont State. Her name is Dr. Mirta Martin, and Dr. Martin is with us, and she's going to say a few words, and we're tickled to death to have her here, and we're just proud as we can be of Fairmont State, and we just want them to keep on keeping on.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Good morning, sir. On behalf of West Virginia Council of Presidents, which is comprised of all of the public colleges and universities in West Virginia, it is my distinct honor to bring you greetings and to express our gratitude for your support of higher education. While this pandemic has been the defining event of our lifetime, you, Mr. Governor, have brought optimism, vision, and heartfelt care to West Virginia. Your leadership has guided our state by putting vision